So there's been a lot of development between Zelensky and Donald Trump, and it's just this has been going on ever since Zelensky had that ridiculous outburst at the Oval Office when he should have held some kind of decorum. And he was doing this in front of the press in the Oval Office, and it's just I legitimately do not know what he's thinking. I know that I've heard some rumors that he may be on drugs or something. Now, I don't know if that is true or not. So I'm not gonna. So don't fact check me on that. I literally do not know if that's true or not. But I don't think it really matters either way because the end result is still the same. Zelensky is honestly pretty delusional to think that he will have a return to the old pre-2014 borders. Now, to just let people know, that includes not only the eastern half of Ukraine that, or at least the 20% that's already occupied by Russia, that includes Crimea as well. And here's the thing: in terms of manpower as well as military capacity and economic strength, Ukraine is at a disadvantage compared to that of Russia. And plus, it doesn't help with the fact that they're neighbors. So they have been, of course, relied heavily on U.S. and EU support, mainly the U.S. because we're the one who's been flipping the bill, to be honest with you. And Donald Trump, he's been trying his best in order to obtain a peace deal, trying to talk to Vladimir Putin, trying to usher Zelensky along, even though he clearly doesn't want to. Literally 3 times. He literally had to talk to Zelensky 3 times just to get him in the Oval Office to potentially sign that mineral deal. And then he fucked it all up. Literally, the Ukrainian ambassador was actually crying. I would not be surprised if she was begging Zelensky to shut up. Honestly, I'm glad I'm not. I'm glad I'm not Ukrainian because I literally do not trust Zelensky at this point to be a leader for Ukraine. Now, at one point, at least at the beginning of the war, I respected him at least to the point where he decided to stay in Ukraine while his own country was being invaded, and the Russians were very close to taking over Kiev. I legitimately don't care at this point. But at this point, all that respect is gone because he's been saying, "Oh, we have been all alone," and he's been very disrespectful to not only towards Donald Trump. This has actually been a recurring theme for a long time. He's been disrespectful to Poland, from what I've heard, and even was disrespectful in front of the NATO delegates. He's been disrespectful to a lot of people, trying to shame them into gain some money. Now, as a consolation prize, after being kicked out of the White House, he decided to go to Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and got $3 billion. Or was it pounds? Either way, he still got that money. So, yippee for him. He spends more money, and the war still continues with more and more Russian and Ukrainian lives still lost. And it's all because of him. I don't know if he's a puppet or not. Although, in all honesty, there's a likelihood that he is, considering the fact that Ukraine is an oligarchy. Not a democracy, an oligarchy. After all, last time I checked, most democracies don't try to ban opposing political parties or a Russian branch of the Orthodox Church. Hell, last time I even checked, they don't establish martial law to cancel elections. But I'm completely digressing. I'm very glad that Donald Trump decided to pause all military aid to Ukraine. If Zelensky wants to live in this delusion, like as though he's fighting alone against Russia, then fine, let him do that. But don't bring the U.S. into this. I know there are some people, whether it's some Ukrainians or Americans or Europeans or whatever. There's a lot of people that think this way. Although I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of other people that think the opposite. That we should still give more money to Ukraine to put boots on the ground. And I just have to ask a question with those people: are you willing if the roles were reversed, would you be, and I mean, in terms of, say, superpower status, like in the alternate reality, Ukraine happens to be a superpower, America isn't, and they're dealing with a invasion by Russia, Canada, Mexico, whatever, and we demand more money and boots on the ground in our own country, when Ukraine has no actual interest, financially or military, to do that. Would you be willing to support that? No? Then what the hell are we talking about here? I legitimately don't know what the hell we're talking about here. But it's clear at this time, Zelensky, and I even go so far to say many of the governments in the European Union, do not want peace. They are they just live in this weird echo chamber delusion that somehow they're going to be having a great ultimate victory over the Russians, as though it was Winston Churchill fighting against Adolf Hitler once again. Which, I'm sorry, but that's not the case. It's absolutely not the case. Even if somehow Ukraine manages to retake all of the land that is occupied by the Russians, Crimea included, they would have to cross the Dnieper River. They would have to take a lot of that high ground back, which in the end is going to cost many, many lives, both Russian and Ukrainian. Lives that probably would not have to be lost. It is a reality that Russia is the one holding all the cards. They're holding the military advantages, the objectives, whatever. I don't see Ukraine actually being able to retake the land. It's a miracle that they managed to reclaim some land after the withdrawal from Kiev, during the offensive in Kharkiv, and even liberate Kherson. But the fact remains that if they continue to go further, it is inevitable that they will lose more men. I don't think Zelensky really understands this, and it's just so frustrating to deal with. I don't blame Donald Trump again for pausing funding. None whatsoever. And I'm just... Again with this whole idea of Zelensky when he was in the Oval Office, when he mentioned that Ukraine has been fighting all alone in this war. That is completely another bullshit. And I'm not just talking about the funding aspect from both the US and the EU, although it's mainly the US that's been doing all the funding. I'm also talking about the fact that many volunteers from other foreign nations, including the United States, actually joined foreign legions in Ukraine. And last time I also checked, many European nations, such as Poland, have taken in your refugees. Explain that one to me. Really, explain that one to me. It's so disrespectful and ridiculous how spoiled, I would argue, spoiled Zelensky is. If he wants to fight in this stupid war, let him. I don't want to have any interest in this. The Europeans, if they want to, or at least the governments, I'm pretty sure the populace are completely different in this opinion. If they want to fight in this war, go ahead. But don't expect us to flip the bill or put troops on the ground, because I'm done with this. I am completely done with this. I have absolutely no interest in being part of this war in Ukraine. Absolutely not. I just want to focus on America. I mean, after all, see this flag? This is an American flag, not a Russian flag, not a Ukrainian flag, an American flag. And I prefer that the money that we have been funding the Ukrainians remains here to help us. At this point, it's gone ridiculous. I do not care. I legitimately hope that there's going to be a peace deal in the coming future. But if there is going to be a peace deal, the only way that this will happen at this point is to basically drag Zelensky to the negotiating table. And this is what the pausing of military funding is doing. My name is Noah Meehan on The Arc of Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, subscribe, and share with friends. Also, if you have any issues such as how I speak or whatever, please post it in the comment section down below or directly message me. Thank you.
West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains.